Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Merkakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to your Akim out there. And this is a quick sit-down lesson through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Shai. And this is June the 6th, 2022 on 8:39 p.m. Central Standard Time on this Monday afternoon. And the title of this sit-down lesson is going to be today is More Wars and Rumors of Wars. This is Wars and Rumors of Wars update. And this is a news article from RT.com. It was published on June the 6th, 2022. From RT.com, World News. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads, South Korea hits back at the DPRK missile launch with display of its own. Seoul and Washington has launched 8 missiles in response to North Korea's provocation. It says South Korea and the United States launched 8 ballistic missiles into the sea on Monday as a response to Sunday's massive launch by North Korea over the country's eastern and western coast. The countries launched 8 Army tactical missile system projectiles, 1 American and 7 Korean, into the eastern waters of South Korea, according to Seoul Joint Chief of Staff and Forces Korea. It says the Korean military said that the display, which lasts 10 minutes, was meant to showcase its ability to respond swiftly and accurately to North Korea's attacks. It says Sunday's North Korea launch, which also includes 8. What's those, fried?
Nachos.
You must have got full, it goes, hey bird, it's going W full, Salaki about that. Let's talk to my brother. But continuing on with the news article. Sunday's North Korea launch, which also included 8 short-range missiles, put the country neighbor on edge. Japanese, South Korean, and U.S. envoys denounced the display as a violation of the UN Security Council resolution. Japan and the United States conducted their own joint military exercise hours after the DPRK's move to show off their rapid response capability. According to the Japanese Defense Ministry, Defense Minister Nubo Kashi told reporters that the proactive display from North Korea could not be tolerated, even though none other projectiles landed in the Japanese waters. The North Korea projectiles were fired over 35 minutes from at least 4 different locations, according to the South Korea, coming from western and eastern coast areas and 2 inland locations. It appears to be a single-day record for ballistic launches for the DPRK. They said, Slovakia. It says the launch was Pyongyang's 18th missile test of the year and following of the heels of a U.S. and South Korea joint drills involving the USS Ronald Reagan off the Okinawa coast in the South first drill involving an American aircraft carrier since 2017. So yeah, this is a response of what North Korea did, those 8 missile launch tests from different directions, from the north and the west, either the north, east, and west, I believe. And it lasted about like an hour or so, and then after that, I believe Japan and the United States, they showed their display of nuclear tests as well too. In response, like if North Korea can do these threats, hey, we can respond back rapidly as well too. Just like I believe South Korea and the United States, they did in response to that. They did their eight missile launch as well too. I believe 7 of those missiles was launched from South Korea, and 1 was launched from the United States. So that goes to show you that these tensions between the North Korea and along with South Korea have allies with the United States and Japan as well too. And I believe they wasn't gonna tolerate the nuclear missile launches from North Korea. So that lets you know these wars and rumors of wars is increasing, in these last days, and it's gonna further increase more and more and more, as we see these things every day in the news, because we're living in biblical prophecy times, This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? Because the end is not yet, because we are seeing these things take unfold, of these tensions constantly, consistently, on an everyday basis, starting to increase with these tensions of these nations, After I just brought out the article of South Korea and United States launched 8 missile launch tests, they were showing their display of nuclear capability as well too, in response to the 8 short missile launches of what North Korea did the other day, So that goes to show you that these the tensions between these nations, these wars and rumors of wars, are increasing, This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nations, and the kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And I'm bring out the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. As I always bring out the scripture as well too, because these tensions starting to increase. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be ye not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by, right? Because the end is not yet, because we're entering in the stages of second woe was past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly, And that's recorded in the book of, I roughly paraphrase, Revelations 11 and 14. Second woe was past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly, right? Because the third woe is coming quickly, and we're seeing signs of that, of these nations, tensions starting to increase against these nations, And these wars and rumors of wars are definitely heating up in the last days, because this is the year of Yahweh Shemel Shai is turning up in the year 2022. Once the elder beloved Apostle Tahar made that statement in the beginning of 2022, once he made that statement about Yahweh Shem Shai is turning up, and he's definitely turning up on these prophecies, and it's gonna increase more and more and more in these last days, And I'm gonna bring out Revelations, because we are definitely living in the book of Revelations as well too. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. Right, because the third woe coming quickly, and it's showing signs of that, and the signs are starting to show even more and more and more, in these last days, So with that, this was a Wars and Rumors of Wars update about South Korea and the United States showed their own display of nuclear arsenal. They doing the nuclear missile tests as well too, of their own, to counter North Korea's 8 missile launches as well too. So we're living in those times of these nations increasingly against one another, and the different kingdoms increasingly against one another as well too. So with that, I hope this was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and a ball.
Well, heard my baby sister's buying a car. Don't make my secret weapon. Gross. No. Anyway,